So let's start off with the tradition that our one and only Fab has helped kick off, the Our Giants Are Female slide. And for this gig, we chose Dr. Eugenia Cheng, who is an associate professor of pure mathematics. And from what little I understand about that, it seems to be the very theoretical part of mathematics, the very basic concepts. So that's what she's into. She's also an accomplished pianist and a handy baker at that, a TEDx speaker and a published author. So an all-around Wonder Woman, it seems. And why we decided to choose her specifically is she's been creating YouTube videos explaining maths using foodie concepts, making the theory easily digestible. So those videos are really funny. I watched a few of them. I only heard of her very recently from Fab. And we think that there's a little bit of a connection between what she's doing for maths to what DQMH is doing for programming with LabVIEW. So we feel that the DQMH also makes our work, the things that we have to do, simpler, more easily digestible again. So kudos to Dr. Eugenia Cheng, definitely. Follow her on Twitter. She even wrote a book, actually, How to Bake Pie. And definitely take a look at her YouTube channel. Okie dokie. So DQMH, the future of team-based LabVIEW development. I'm not sure if anybody is in the audience who does not know what DQMH is. If anybody needs the details, please let me know in the chat. Otherwise, I'll go through that very quickly. So DQMH is short for the Delacor Qt Message Handler. Mike, first, what do you call it in English? First time telling you off. First warning, that's the word. It is expanding on the NIQMH by providing safe event-based message handling and scripting tools. We'll talk about it in a second. It helps with running code in parallel, which is quite handy in certain cases. DQMH improves the efficiency by not enforcing, but encouraging best practices. Of course, seeing as we are able to create modules, modularization is an important one, which brings encapsulation. But also at the same time, as the slide says, it suggests a certain style in programming which the team can then adopt. Our focus when working on DQMH, not with DQMH, but on DQMH, is always the developer experience. So we try to make it easier to use DQMH to get your daily work done. So that's where we focus. And I think it's safe to say that DQMH is the most popular LabVIEW framework out there. So people seem to like what Delacor and Fab have created, and we're happy to be able to help today, making it even better. And like Fab says, if you smile while using DQMH, we have done our job right. And that's a hard target to achieve, I think. The strategic decisions of DQMH, in a nutshell, it was important to create a tool that is accessible to an iSupport so that you can reach out to an iSupport and they have like a rough idea of what you're talking about. It is accessible to CLD level developers, but even CLADs can contribute. So depending on the level of proficiency that you have, there's a way and a place to work with DQMH, either filling out stuff that your architects have prepared to you, or if you're more proficient, coming up with the architecture yourself, or even modifying the modules at its core. Even that's possible. It works with TestStand. It was built with TestStand in mind. It uses LLoop, but does not require understanding it, which means that under the hood, DQMH does use object orientation, but you don't have to use object orientation when applying DQMH modules. But you can make use of object orientation to either work within DQMH or even expand the DQMH default features. As said before, it was important to make sure that it supports multiple instances, which then can run in parallel. And the scripting tools reduce anxiety. So one of the probably biggest advantages of DQMH is that it takes a lot of work off your shoulders by automating the things in the background with macro-like features. On a scale where we put complexity versus the learning curve, there are different architectures that are probably, most of them are well known to you guys, ranging from the state machine, which is not very complex and thus very simple and very easy to learn. Then going to the producer-consumer design pattern, the queued message handler, private-public events, which was is a framework which I think was quite popular a few years ago. And then, of course, active framework being the most versatile, the most complex one probably, which takes the longest time to become acquainted and proficient with. And what DQMH tries to do, it tries to take the features and the versatility of the private public events framework, and by adding scripting tools and by changing the terminology to make it less complex so that people can learn to use it much faster. And that's where we think DQMH is positioned in terms of complexity versus the learning curve. The advantages of using DQMH, it's a single tool, which is quite handy. I think it's a good approach to be very proficient with a single tool, know what can be done with it, what can't be done with it. For a small team, it's probably easier to be proficient with a single tool than trying to learn all of them. And yes, I've been heard to say that it's my hammer. I'm not trying to say that everything should be a nail from now on. And there's some interesting psychology, by the way, behind these statements. But I do think that it's for us as a small company and for us working in small teams, it pays off to be very good with a single tool. Furthermore, we have a strongly typed API. I think that's my favorite feature of DQMH. So we have VIs for all the functions that you can call towards a module, the request as it's called in DQMH. You have the VI, it has a description, it has a connector pattern. So there are no questions to be asked. If you develop your module, by the time you're finished with the development, probably the API is also finished because you created it on the go. And if you hand it over to your colleagues, they know where to look at for the functions. They see the set of VIs, and they don't have to think about what data type do I need to provide, et cetera, et cetera. It's all there out of the box. Of course, it encourages best practice use. Well, it helps adhering to best practices, and it's the familiar QMH architecture that flattens the learning curve. And the small team benefit a lot from its ease of use, of course. The self-documentation features, the built-in test facility, the API tester, and so on, and so on, and so on. Another thing is its maturity. I think it's safe to say that DQMH has been used by thousands or 10,000s of people. It has been looked at in detail by lots of very knowledgeable people, by an eye, outside of an eye, and it's quite safe to assume that the major kinks have definitely been ironed out. And of course, not every framework fits every use case, but DQMH is rock solid and it's a safe bet to use it, definitely. Flexibility is another thing. It can be used together with other architectures, which is not as simple with tools like the active framework, where it's more work to integrate it with anything else. DQMH is very modular. So you can just have one DQMH module and the rest of the application can be something completely different. And this makes it very easy to get started with DQMH, because you can start with one of your modules or topics. You can just, I don't know, take the power supply and wrap that into a DQMH module, see how that feels, and then take it from there. Availability is, of course, another important thing. DQMH is available for free. And this makes it very easy for people to try and get started with it. But not only the tool is available, also lots of people are available to work on it. So if you are looking for new team members for your team, if you are looking for new subcontractors to put work to, it's probably quite easy to find somebody who's already proficient with DQMH. And if you don't find those people within your own region through your own channels, you can always reach out to the DQMH trusted advisors, for example, who then offer any kinds of service that you can think of in terms of DQMH. And it's free. Yeah, I just mentioned the DQMH Trusted Advisors. It's a program of knowledgeable people who have been audited, I think is the correct word, by previously DLACOR, nowadays the DQMH Consortium, to make sure that, to verify that those people understand the best practices regarding the DQMH, that they understand the architecture, that they know why things have been built and designed the way they are, and that those people know about how to use it, and maybe also when not to use it. So those companies that are listed on the Trusted Advisors page have demonstrated that they know all the ins and outs of DQMH, and they can, like the name implies, they can be trusted to help you with your new project or with your maintenance of existing DQMH projects. Let's double check that everybody is on there. But we're missing out the latest trusted advisor. I'm very sorry for that.
We are missing Prime Test.
Prime Test automation is not on the slide here. Big apologies for that. I'm sorry, it's my oversight. So we have not only those 7 trusted advisors, but also Prime Test automation as the latest addition to our trusted advisors team. If somebody can put the URL to the website in the chat for me.
Yeah, Fabiola did it already.
Okay. Okay, the other thing that's quite new, yeah, I think not much more than half a year, right? Seems longer, actually.
April.
Is the DQMH, April, yeah. Yeah, it's the DQMH Consortium. And the DQMH Consortium is the successor to DLACOR when it comes to maintenance of the DQMH toolkit. The mission is, or the objective is to further the mission of the DQMH toolkit, as it says here in the slides. So the idea is that DQMH has reached a point, has come to a point where it's evolved so much that it became more and more challenging for a single company to, well, not really to maintain it, because DLACOR is very proficient and capable, but in terms of how secure it seems to the community, etc., it just made sense to involve more people than only a single company, to have more shoulders to put the weight of maintenance and furthering the toolkit. And that is what the DQMH Consortium, the organization, is now doing. It's you can see the 5 people: Matthias, Fab, myself, Olivier, and Luis, who make up the board of directors. And we try to ensure that the access to the DQMH software project, and also the derivatives and the tools coming with that those are here to stay, and that they will even become better and better in the coming years. It's important to state that it is a not-for-profit organization. So any money that we can earn through the DQMH Consortium will go directly into the development and into the furtherment of the DQMH toolkit itself. And we will have to earn money because maintenance is not for free. Developing new features is not for free. So there will have to be some revenue so that we can maintain the toolkit. But again, I think it's a good turn to make this an explicit economic venture. That's how we ensure that it is to stay. And like Fab says in the chat, developers should be paid for developing code, definitely. So yeah, that's already the first part, the generic one. So very quickly, And we have a second slide set for you. I'll just have to figure out how to, where my browser went to, sorry. There we go. That's interesting. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused by the many screens here. Just give me a second.
There are some questions on the polls tab. If you want to reply them, it could probably lead to some questions or
okay.
Or some
Where's
topic.
the poll tab? Oh, there. Questions. What library framework do you use the most?
Yeah, those are polls actually to try to
I'm
reach some
just
discussions.
browsing through them. So not surprisingly, DQMH is leading the board. And not everybody did see your presentation, Olivier, which is a pity, actually.
Yeah.
Crazy. But there are no real questions yet to the
It's possible if it's possible for me to make the demo again about the presentation I did this
yeah, if
morning,
we have time
afternoon.
later, that would be a good idea.
If
Jörg, did you have some slides about the training offering that we just released recently?
Nope.
No,
no slides
okay.
specifically
so
for that.
That we can maybe
that is yet another thing. But we can just pull
the website
the
because
website.
yeah, this is something we definitely wanted to make sure we provide to the community.
Mm-hmm.
And it has just been released last month, I believe.
Yeah. Okay, so let me share my screen again. Well, there are no other questions. Okie dokie. So there we go. Okay, second slide set is about DQMH 6.0. So what's new in 6.0? Let's get right to it. The consortium, I just talked about that. We can skip that. We have a new error handling approach. So for those of you in the know, you might know that the DQMH module is a queued message handler. So you have the user or the event handling loop and the consumer, the message handling loop, which have their own error handling VIs. And with 6.0, DQMH comes with a separate additional VI that you can put somewhere in your code. And the, oh, sorry, I'm talking about the wrong feature here. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So anyhow, I will finish that. So we can, DQMH comes with a new VI that you can put in your helper loops, and you can supply the source there. So in the past, it was not quite straightforward how to do error handling in your helper loops because there was not an explicit VI for that. Now you have that. What we're looking at here actually is that we have a way to find out where an error originated that comes out of the message handling loop case structure. So this is the consumer, right? The message handling loop. And for those people knowing DQMH, whenever an error cluster is output from this case structure, it goes into this VI, and this will actually create then an error message so we can handle that in the error case. Now, it doesn't say where the error originated from. It didn't say that in the past. And especially with like the error 91 variant not being converted correctly, that's quite tedious because then you have to go looking for where could that have happened in which of my cases. So what is the actual origin of my error? Now, the error cluster contains the message name, the name of the case structure where the error originated. So you have that in your error message once you're processing it in your code, which has been very helpful already for us. So I like that a lot. So you can see here, the error in this test came from the message handling frame to something else in this example. So that's nice to have. So this is now the thing that I actually started talking about, the new error handler VI. I explained it already. So we have now a dedicated VI that you can put in your helper loops. You can add additional information here, and this will also forward it to the message handling loop through the queue reference here. Fab says, I needed the espresso after all. I think that would have made it worse, actually, Fab. So here again, helper loop, my additional loop, additional information for the error cluster. And then a very great tool, the new Find Event Frames plugin. That's awesome. So you can actually right-click on a broadcast VI. This is a VI that is sending information from a module to the outside world. It's an event, and you can find all the places that have registered for that event in your application. So this is also very helpful in figuring out, okay, where is the data that's like one to many, where is that data consumed? We have a new validator fixer logic here when the validator fixer cannot upgrade the start module, which can happen because you might have made modifications to a start module VI, maybe providing additional parameters or doing other stuff. So if you then upgrade and the fixer wants to add new features, the latest features to a start module VI, it can't do that because the VI has already been modified. So what it does now is it will create a new VI, still a start module 2 VI, which adheres to the new style, to the latest features, and you can then manually migrate your code into the new structure, which is very handy. We even have a test to check that the start module VI, start module 2 VI is not there anymore. So we even take care of you tidying up your source code. There you go. More good stuff, request and wait for reply. It returns now the payload arguments as individual outputs on the connector pane. If there is enough space for this, of course. It used to be that it would only be the cluster itself that's just output, and then you would then have to put the unbundle. And many times, if not most of the times, you don't need that many arguments. So there would probably be only one or two, and you would always have to unbundle. And now with 6.0, we will put them on the connector pane. Another thing is clonable running a singleton. We have now a more robust mechanism for determining when the module has completely shut down. So there used to be some issues, some race conditions, and we fixed them in 6.0. We will have fixed them even better in 6.1. So we figured out that there are still some corner cases that we had not caught with the original fix. And I think we are quite happy with what we have right now. So probably we have caught it, or the EVA played a big role in that. Thanks for that. So hopefully this issue is gone with 6.1. Stopping modules. When closing a module main VI, the code now calls the update module execution status with the running flag set to false. So this is, I think, more of a convenience function to make things work more nicely, in a more integrated way. And the other thing is stop module VI now executes even if there's an error coming through its error input. So both the bigger and also the smaller improvements are important to make the framework more robust. And API testers, the code that updates the status string on the front panel for broadcast events is now automatically scripted. Yay. So every time you would create a new broadcast, you would have to wire the event structure in the API tester to get the broadcast information as an output. And now that's done automatically. That is very great help. Matt agrees, I see. Validate DQMH module, a new validate test was added that detects frames in the event handling loop that contain bundle functions with one or more inputs unwired. A typical error when the developer adds new parameters to an argument cluster and forgets to update the event case that handles the events to bundle all the inputs. And yes, I'm guilty of having done that. So this is a great improvement, I think, helps you not to forget these things. Creating a new DQMH module from a template now works even if the template exists in the project. There used to be a small bug in that regard. And for the CML project template, we improved the state management in the logging module. Resources, the website, the wiki, which is deprecated actually, so there's not much information in that one. Of course, we have our great online documentation. You can find the trusted advisors via the website as well. And we have a YouTube playlist, of course, but equally great is Tom Dlappy Adventures, the YouTube channel of Tom McQuillan. Yeah, the presentation is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central European time. Not sure what that is in Matt Jacobson time. Where are you at, Matt? That's like in, is this Austin time? That might be 8 hours.
I think it's
Austin time will be 2 a.m. in the morning. It's 3 a.m. for me in Quebec, Eastern time here.
So world time party to the rescue. It will be in the middle of the night.
You will be able to sleep with Olivier. That's might be your only occasion.
Probably we can add in the resources the link Fab added in the chat about the feature request. So if you are a DQMH user, if you have some ideas on how to improve, or if you have bugs, you find bugs in the framework, you can post feature requests directly on ni.com website. So the link is in.
And if
chat.
you want a quick link to access all this, you can go to dqmh.org/contact and you get you can just send us a message and you have access to support requests and feature requests right there.
Wait, you're all way too quick. Okay, so first of all, here's the DQMH Consortium Toolkit's feature requests, okay? The link is on the chat already. So you can add all your great ideas here, and then we will see, talk this through, have some votes, etc., and see if it makes sense. Maybe get back to you with questions, explain why or why not we will accept it. So this is a great help for us to get a feel for what's going on in the community and also get a feel for how to, in which way to evolve it. DQMH contact form on the bottom of each of the DQMH.org pages, support requests, feature requests, and the contact form for anything else. So you can reach us through that channel or any other way you see fit, of course. And the other thing that we wanted to talk about is training, actually. Seeing as this offering is quite new, or at least the page for it is quite new, we have put a lot of thought and a lot of work into the outline of our training offering. We have given some trainings recently, all of us, and we have had postmortems for that. And the training package, the training offering that we have right now is really fine-tuned, I think. It can be adapted to different situations, in-house trainings, public trainings. We can also augment it with customer-specific examples, etc. And we have had very good feedback and a good experience giving it recently. So you can actually book trainings or courses directly from the consortium. The courses will then be given either by ourselves, by the board members, or also by the trusted advisors. And as it says here on the website, there's obviously no better place to learn about DQMH than from the people who work on it, who work with it daily. We have put some frequently asked questions here. We can have a conversation beforehand. Of course, our classes can be given virtually. There's not much need for equipment other than the machines that people usually work on. Ideally, we can definitely have customer-specific examples and work packages. This has turned out very nicely for our own customers in the past, but at the same time, we do have a generic example for less homogeneous audiences where we cannot easily come up with or agree on a single example. In terms of the proficiency level, a very basic proficiency with LabVIEW should be enough. Recently, we had experience with teaching DQMH to a very diverse group of people, which also worked out very nicely. So that's also usually not a problem. Yeah, we can offer to bring in multiple DQMH trusted advisors or consortium team if you have something specific in mind. If it's about, I don't know, DQMH and unit testing, it might be Sam Taggart or Fab herself. If it's about PPLs, probably we would turn to Matthias. So there are different focus points that we can offer to cater to. The pricing will be tailored to the customer's needs, so it will depend on what we actually offer you. So that will be a conversation. And as for the location, it can be at our place, at your company's location, or as I said, virtually. As for the training course itself, who is it for? It's for teams of LabVIEW developers looking into or already working with DQMH. If you're a lone wolf working with LabVIEW and DQMH, of course, you're welcome just as much. You get an understanding of where DQMH comes from and why it's designed the way it is. That's, I think, quite handy when designing your architecture. You get knowledge about the basic rules of how to work with DQMH, how to communicate between modules, and then, of course, lots of tips and tricks on how to build small, medium, and large applications. After the course, you should be able to design and implement DQMH-based applications in accordance with the DQMH community's proven and well-established best practices. So what this means is that after the training, you should have gotten the understanding of why DQMH works the way it works, what are the basic tips and tricks, and you should be able to keep that in mind when designing and creating your applications. There are some more details about the course contents. I think they're not that important here, but of course, some background, QMH, user events, actor-oriented programming, the DQMH architecture itself, then modeling with diagrams and with tables. That's quite interesting, is not especially, both for the generic and for the customer-specific examples, talk things through, and then, of course, design and model the example itself, create the modules, and implement, depending on what the specifics are, more or less of the application of the example application itself. And of course, we will cover lots of tips and tricks. These are only some of them. So yeah, we feel that this is a great offering. As I said, we've given it a few times in the recent past, and we had lots of success with that. So let us know if that's interesting to you guys. Okay.
There's no much question in the chat, but there was a remark from Matt. Probably we can talk about it.
Just one
Matt,
question, Olivier. Just one question. One moment, sorry. Nathan just said, is there also training documentation for personal learning? I think there's lots of videos out there, and on the DQMH documentation, there's also a page dedicated to different learning paths. So if you want to learn on your own, self-paced, there is a lot of material out there on YouTube and on the DQMH documentation. There's not really a training course for self-paced learning that we provide as a consortium. Sorry, Matthias.
Yeah, and I was saying, yeah, so as you said, the online documentation and the YouTube channel are the places to start, and the forums is where you can ask questions, post your code if you have, if you want some help, if you have questions, if you're running into issues. That's how people can get help directly also on getting started, or just more conceptual approaches as well.
Yeah. And as Mike says, those are really comprehensive. They are. Again, kudos to Delacor and Fab for preparing that over the years. Yet another advantage of going with DQMH is that there is so much material out there where you can onboard yourself or your team rather easily, I would say.
And I would add that the community is really active in the NI forum. If you are asking for questions, you will have a feedback in the day or less, because we have all these users. Trusted advisor are already keen to answer questions. If you have a question about how to use DQMH with Testand, how to build PPL with the modules, etc. You can find really interesting materials on the forum.
So Nathan just posted that the badge link is broken. Nathan, can you point to the exact location? So this one seemed to have worked. Anyhow, we can figure that out later on. James said, I went from never heard of it to developing code for a customer in days. Yeah, that's the way we like it. So that's the way it's supposed to be. Thank you for that feedback. Yeah, like Antoine says, Tom's Levy Adventure, definitely a great resource for that.
Yep. I was reading the chat and I saw that Matt Jacobson tell that I just don't move between versions if possible, and probably it's a good remark to remind people and users and those who don't know DQMH what is the validator and the validate module feature in the DQMH. And when I started working with DQMH, this was probably something really important, as we are developing application we want to maintain on the long term. When a new version of the DQMH is released, you can update your code and the framework and go through all this automated test that is going to check that everything is okay with your code with the new version. So it's greatly improved the way to move from one DQMH version to another. And I think, as far as I know, it's the only framework available right now that has this feature in it. And that's a really interesting thing. I don't know if people know this feature, but it's really a great feature. When you
there is we provide an upgrade path for every DQMH version, so there should not be any very good reason for not upgrading. So as I said, we provide the upgrade path, we provide additional testing and validation. As Fab said on the chat, it not only do the upgrade, but it also checks that you didn't insert bugs in your DQMH code. And the validator tool can be run from your CI if you are using CI. So that's also something you can put directly in your continuous development or integration process.
Yeah, Alexander says enqueuing a non-existent case is one of my favorites. It's not one of mine, Alexander, I gotta say, especially if you do it.
And I think Alexander's remark is pointing that this validator tool is not only useful when you move from one version to another one, it's actually really good to have it running as often as you can. And myself, and I think Jörg, and every people that has a CI process can run this validator tool as part of your CI process to have this kind of error get back to your system so you can fix it and keep your code really clean.
Olivier, you mentioned before that you might want to repeat your short session.
I can share my screen, and so we can.
So while you prepare for that,
yep.
we have other tools that are based on DQMH, like the test sequencer framework, the configuration editor framework. Those are not advertised yet on our website. Again, the consortium is something new, and we are revamping the web content. But know that those are existing tools that are maintained by the DQMH Consortium and that we actively develop and improve. At some point, there will be more information on the website. And the sequence editor is also another tool that is built with and kind of for DQMH. So feel free to send us a message or to ping us if you want more information. But if I don't miss anything, yes, we have the test sequencer based on the DQMH framework and the configuration editor, and soon the sequence viewer, sequence diagram.
We don't know the name. And yeah, the Fab point out that there were a question about our approach to create automated tests. Oh no, this is a different question. What's your approach when you need to create automated tests for your module? It's about unit testing the module, Lucas. Can you give more information?
I think it's about automatically testing them. So
okay.
Unit test,
it's
yes or no, doesn't really matter, but it's different from the API tester, yes.
Yep.
So, well, I'm not the person who does most of the unit testing in the whole consortium. So, but I can say that there are two approaches. You can write your own unit tests and call events as you see fit. But there's also the unit test feature that comes with DQMH itself. I
can show it.
Maybe Olivier, you can take over.
Yeah. So you can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this tool is available. I'm in the same situation as Jörg. I'm not really using it, but you can prepare your unit test to be called by with a start module, testing your request and stopping your module.
So it's intended to be used with an existing unit test framework like Karaya or GKIVI tester or others. It basically creates a wrapper for your setup, teardown, and the call of your requests. So it makes it easier to create unit tests for your module. We often get the question, but how I test the private VIs in my module because they are private, so they are not accessible by the unit test framework. And our answer is usually that if you are able to validate that your public method works, that means that your private methods work as well under the hood. So we try to keep the encapsulation of the DQMH module with this.
One comment to that, because I got it a lot too, is you can, if for example, a class inside your module that you use there, you might want to make the class itself not private, but put it somewhere in your project so you can test it separately, but maybe make it private, like inside the DQMH module. So as soon as it's a resource of the module, then it's private and not accessible. So this is one way that we worked around this. But that's not really to do with DQMH anymore. That's like a general question that always comes up, how to test private features. And like you said, Matthias, that's a, what do you call that? A holy war, I think, or something like that.
And just before jumping to the sequence diagram viewer, I saw that Alexander said in the chat that CI/CD could break if validation fails. It's true. This is something annoying, and this is something we are going to handle in the next version of DQMH. So we will be able to deactivate one test if we know that it's for a good reason that this test is not successful. So this is part, I think, of a feature request we had in ni.com website. So
yeah,
feel free to upgrade your. Be ready to upgrade your DQMH framework. We hope soon. So
before you go on,
yeah.
Olivier, Lucas, can you let us know if that answers your question? Ah, it's already there. Sorry. Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Okay, Olivier.
So at the beginning of the summit, I had the opportunity to have 7 minutes to demonstrate a thing we have been working on for the last couple of months. Probably you know Antidoc, shameless plug. This is a tool you can use with DQMH. It's great to have information about your code. But Antidoc is giving you static information about the link between your modules. Here, we really wanted to work on the thing that happened during the execution of your code. So here I have a small example. This is a really simple VI that starts a module. But before starting the module, I'm going to open what we are currently calling a sequence diagram viewer. And if I start my module, I can see the sequence diagram drawn as far as I'm asking things to the module. So if I ask the module to hide this panel, I can see here the step happening with the timestamp, the name of the request, and the parameters of the request. And if I have a request with reply, here I can see the request with its parameters and the reply here. So I can see the same reply that I am displaying here. And the thing is, it allows you to understand and to see what is actually happening in your code. So it could be, we think it could be really useful to debug and to understand your application. And it could be also a great thing to understand application you are working on and you never see before. You are not the developer of the application. If I'm starting bigger, I would say bigger application, it's the CML project you can find with the DQMH framework. As soon as I started the main VI, I have this window opened. But what happened during the initialization sequence, I can just open the sequence diagram viewer and see that CML main VI is starting CML UI module. And then this is the CML UI module that starts the 3 other modules the application has. And after some requests sent to the settings editor, we can see that the CML main VI requests CML UI to show its panel. So in one glance, we can see all the requests sent between all the modules. And just to, if we have time, if we start the acquisition, we can see that lots of requests are sent, but it could be confusing. And even if we can zoom out, it could be confusing and difficult to read. So we have this option that allows us to stack the redundant steps. And as soon as I'm enabling this option, I can start the acquisition. I will zoom in, and then we can see that we have just only one step added with the number of times the request is sent. And for the one more thing about the feature we could have in this tool is that you can open the diagram in your default browser and get the beautiful picture and not the drawing with text display. So this is a proof of concept for us. We think this is okay. We proved that we can make a tool that could help DQMH users. Now we need to work on it to
And you're using plant UML syntax, right, Olivier?
Yes, it's right. If you right click, this is something, no, not on this, but on the panel. If you right click here, you can copy, and if I'm
and then you can use any online graphical generator that parses plant UML syntax.
Exactly. And just, yeah. Here you have, this lot of stuff, but here it's the original syntax that allow us to get the diagram. So if you want to use Croquis.io or I don't remember other services that can generate this, or if you want to use ASCII doc syntax, for example, it's easy to get the UML representation of the sequence.
Thank you, Olivier. It's the first time I see it, and I still love it.
Awesome. Every time again.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're quite thrilled about that one, I think. And like you said, Olivier, oh, did you say it? I don't know, but I think this is one more thing that sets DQMH apart, making it easier for you to gain knowledge on what's actually happening under the hood. Let's put it like that. So
I think it's good for developers, and it's good for people that want to maintain the code. So we are developer, we need to understand what is happening, so we can develop the feature our customer, product owner, user wants for their application. But if you think about maintainability, if you are using our framework, you know that someone else can get a lot of information using this sequence diagram user running the application for the first time. You can run anti-doc through the project to get other kind of information. So it really helps people to have a maintainable application, I think.
Mm-hmm. It ties perfectly in the debug-driven development that we like to do a lot. So that's yet one more tool in the toolbox to get to the bottom of things.
Exactly. It's part of the philosophy behind DQMH. I think, Fab, if you can confirm that it's the right way we are.
Uh-oh. Well, that in the traditional part of Germany here in Bavaria, there's this saying that goes, once not telling you off is praise enough. If that makes sense. So if she's not bashing our heads in, I think we're on the right track. Okay, time is over, I guess, 2 minutes past 8. So thank you to everybody who joined us today.
There are questions now.
More questions? Okay, why not answer them? Well, it's not really DQMH specific.
Is NI thinking about purchasing the rights? We are not the right people to answer that.
Is NI purchasing which rights?
Of DQMH? There's no plan for this.
I guess. I mean,
we didn't receive any requests, but they're not rich enough.
Would be nice depending on the numbers, but so far you see us here and not on the island, so nothing has happened so far, I guess.
And Alexander, is this will also work on RT? Which part? DQMH on RT? Yes, it works. Or the sequence diagram viewer?
So this is an original question from Oleg, and I believe this is related to the sequence viewer, and I believe the answer is yes.
Yes.
It's just text generation and parsing what already runs on RT.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I think just scrolling up now. No more questions. I mean, in any case, if you have more questions, I think you know where to find us. You'll get hold of at least one of us, I would think. And reach out to us, go through the feature request if it's about DQMH, go through info@dqmh.org for general stuff, or just, I don't know, hit us up on LinkedIn or Twitter or wherever. Again, we are happy to talk to people. There are some nice things coming soon to you guys that we've hinted towards, some new products as well. So please stay tuned and please keep trusting in us. I've said it before, we are completely aware of the responsibility the consortium has now on its shoulders. But so far it's going quite well, I think. It's fun for us, and yeah, we're there to help you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice GLA summit. It's not over.
Yeah, off to the next meet, surely.
Yep.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.